Hi, guys. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Welcome to CBD Movement Talk Live. I'm going to go ahead and add some people in. How y'all doing tonight? We are going to talk about severe chronic dizziness, people that suffer from that, okay? So if you know anybody that is on Facebook right now, hi, that is suffering from dizziness of any form or any kind, hi, Jewel. They're definitely going to want to see this live. Hi, Terry. Salute to Terry out there, guys. You definitely want to going to see this live. So what I want everyone to do right now is go ahead as you're coming into the room, go ahead and greet each other and go ahead and share this feed. There's also a blue tab for you newcomers that appears as you're coming into this live. Go ahead and click that tab. It'll allow you to get notifications of when CBD Movement Talk Live actually comes on. So you'll be able to get a notification, okay? Not only that, you can catch us Monday through Friday here on CBD Movement Talk Live, where you can gain health topic information, topics on healthcare and just information that you can use in solutions. And just find out things you probably didn't know about your health or that can help someone else. Okay, so be sure to tune in. Okay, tune in. Tell a friend. If you love what we're doing, tell a friend. And thank you so much. I just want to say thank you. Me and Terry, thank you so much for hanging there in there with us through all our changes, through all our newbie mistakes, or whatever the case may be, just hanging in there with us. We appreciate that. So now that I got that housekeeping out of the way, and if you need any more information, there it's going to be on the side. Okay, guys, you can check on the side. And for you newcomers, all the information on how to get into these groups and everything is going to be on the side. So now that housekeeping is out of the way, let's go ahead and get into severe dizziness. How many of you have ever been dizzy in your life? Let me know if you are in the live. How many of you have ever experienced any type of dizziness? Hi, Charles. Hi, I see you over there. I know I've experienced dizziness before plenty of times, okay? But I remember one instance where I actually experienced dizziness when I was a child, when I was younger. Hi, thank you. Yeah, you've experienced dizziness too. It's not a great feeling, right? A lot of people think it's something light and like, oh, why would you do a topic like this? Well, guys, there are severe cases of dizziness. But let me share my story a little bit. So I had a severe case of dizziness one time, and I believe it was because of food poisoning. It might have been food poisoning when I was young. I had ate something and then it caused me to get sick. But the first thing I experienced was dizziness. And I'm telling you guys, I was young, I was terrified. I was probably like maybe 11 or something like that. And the room literally started spinning the hell around. I was like, what in the heck is this? It was spinning around. I mean, I remember calling out for my parents. I was like, what's going on? You know, the room was spinning around and everything like that. So, dizziness for a person that has never experienced before in that severity can be scary because, especially if you're walking around or anything like that, or you're just in your home by yourself and you don't have anybody watching over you, having those dizzy spells can be very scary because you don't know if you're going to pass out. You don't know if you're going to fall over something and hurt yourself. So it can be a dangerous thing as well. So people that deal with this on a daily basis, maybe even a weekly basis, or maybe even for the rest of their life on and off, can you imagine just going around and you're walking around and you're fine and all of a sudden you have another one of your dizzy spells? just the feeling, the upset stomach, the nausea that comes with it, it's just irritating. It's just irritating. And not only that, it just makes you more fearful at that. Um, and it's very debilitating. It can be. So let's talk about this severe dizziness, okay? 40% of US citizens experience severe dizziness, guys. 40% in the US. Okay? It says here that chronic dizziness is brought on by uh, a change in position of your head, and it's also caused by calcium crystals that is floating in the ear canals. So it's a imbalance not only with what's going on with your head movements, but it's also caused by what goes on in your ear. How many of you knew that your ear, the fluid in your ear, is what helps you keep your balance? How many of you knew that in the chat room? Does anybody know that the fluid in your ear is what helps you keep your balance? And that when it's off, it can cause you to have an unsteady gait, causing you to have dizziness. Okay? So what ends up happening is, due to off movements and head positioning and crystals, calcium deposits developing in your ear with an off balance of fluid in your ear canal, can set off dizziness. Okay? It says that the condition, when we're talking about how long this dizziness can last, it can last for days for some people. It can last for weeks for some people. Now, we're not talking about like straight through, because that would be even more horrible, okay? That would be horrific. But we're talking about episodes where they're on and off. So they may go through it every day of the week, but it will be on and off. You understand what I'm saying? So some people may experience it for 30 days, a month or so, or some people may have it so bad that they have it for basically years or even the rest of their life dealing with this condition. Now, the severe form of dizziness may include headaches, ringing in the ears, sweating, yes, eye twitching. Now, when we talk about eye twitching, we're talking about tics. So how many of you have heard about some people having tics? Now, we're not talking about from dogs. We're talking about medical tics that has to deal with the body. So when you're talking about tics, you're talking about when you're looking at somebody and their eyes is always twitching, or maybe their jaw is twitching, or their lip might twitch. Those are called tics, okay? And in the medical industry, it's called tics, okay? So some people will experience that while either having a pre-symptom of the severe dizziness, or while having the dizziness symptoms. Okay, of course, you're going to feel nauseated. That's the worst feeling, of having that feeling like you want to vomit. That is just the worstest feeling ever. How many of you have had the flu, have had some type of sickness, some upset stomach, and that feeling of like you just got to heave, but you can't heave? That's the most annoying thing ever to experience. So people that have chronic dizziness, they experience this feeling on basically a daily basis, depending on how long their severity of their dizziness, how long it lasts, they experience this feeling as well. And of course, it says vomiting. And that's what usually ends up happening when you can't take it no more. So just imagine twirling yourself around and twirling and twirling and twirling, and then you stop. Remember when you used to do that as a kid and then everything is spinning around? Well, that's how a person feels when they have severe chronic dizziness episodes, Okay. So it says the feeling that they feel, the feeling that objects always seem to be spinning around. Like I told you before, when I was a child and I experienced a severe case of dizziness, everything was spinning around. It's like nothing would stop. And it's like reality to you that all of this stuff is moving around, but it's not. Okay. So it says it seems that objects are spinning around when they're not, and there's a fullness, and when there is not a fullness in the ear, it also causes nausea and problems with balance. So that fluid that builds up in that ear causes an imbalance, and that causes you to have an unsteady gait when you have severe dizziness. Okay, so going on, it says you will experience also lightheadedness, rotational dizziness, motion sickness. Okay, so just any little movement will can cause you to have severe dizziness. And sometimes people who have severe dizziness, even when they're not moving at all, if they have a dizzy spell, it just happen right there, and everything will start spinning around. So they don't necessarily have to move to be moving around to have these episodes. Okay, and it says here some unrelated medical conditions that can also be associated with um, you having dizziness is not only what I mentioned before about you twirling around, that's a form of dizziness as well, that's considered in that factor, but also factors such as medications and the side effects from those medications can cause you to have dizziness. How many of you have taken medications or knew someone in your family that was taking medications and they said, you know what, me taking these medications, I experienced dizziness with it. You know, I hate taking it because I experienced dizziness. So those are some triggers that can cause you to have severe dizziness is taking medications, okay? Okay, it says here, um, it gives like a little few tips on what you can do as far as if the dizziness occurs on one side or the other. Now, for people that don't know, if you have severe dizziness, sometimes it can trigger on one side of the brain or the other, which is just weird. You would think dizziness would be just something that just takes over your whole body function is doing it from both sides of your ear, from both sides of the brain. But sometimes when you have severe chronic dizziness, it can be triggered from one side of the ear and one side of the brain, or the other side of the ear and the other side of the brain, which is just weird. It's almost like if a person who has had some type of palsy, you know. So if a person, it says here, experiences the vertigo coming from the left side, what you want to do is sit at the edge of your seat or the edge of your bed and quickly lay down. Lay on your back and lay your head on the bed or wherever you're at that's relaxed in a 45-degree angle. So that's going to help relieve that symptom of dizziness, severity of dizziness that you have, okay? And then it says here, turn your head halfway, 90 degrees, can also help ease the dizziness, okay? And it says here, turning your head and your body on its side is another position. So if you want to lay on your side while you're laying down on your bed, if you're having severe dizziness, just lay on your side and turn your head in the opposite direction. You know, the opposite direction or the same direction to be able to relieve some of that dizziness. And it says here, if you are doing the position where you're standing, you're scooting to the edge to get ready to lay down, first slowly tilt your head to the floor, look down, and then just ease on back. Okay. So those are just some of the little tips that it talks about, um, you dealing with the severity of dizziness, some little tips that you can use to help calm it down a little bit. Also, some questions here. It says, do you believe that vertigo can kill you? So, can vertigo be fatal? That's the question that I'm going to ask you. How many of you think that vertigo can be fatal? Does anybody think that vertigo, let me know in the chat room, do you think that vertigo can actually cause you to die? Well, vertigo cannot kill you. And some of you are saying, well, duh, it's dizziness. How's dizziness going to kill you? But what can possibly cause you harm and can be fatal is the aftermath of you having dizziness. Remember what I was telling you before, that you not having somebody watching over you, if you have this chronic dizziness syndrome where you are just dizzy all the time, you could end up falling over something, especially elderly people. Falling over something, you don't know, you might black out because of the dizziness and hit your head. And that could be things that could lead up to a fatal incident, unfortunately, just from having dizziness, okay? Um, so what are some of the exercises that they use for people who have dizziness? There are some exercises that you can do. But before I get into that, let's talk about the medications, okay? There are some medications that people who have chronic dizziness all the time, and we're talking about people who actually go into weeks, days and weeks, months and years having to go to a physician to get treatment. And of course, we all know about good old medications, okay, and what they can do to the body by giving you side effects, okay? So you're trying to go to get rid of one problem and you end up with a what? Another, okay? So I'm just going to read off some of the prescriptions, guys, that people who have vertigo go through, okay? So it says here, I'm gonna put some in the chat room, because some of these, guys, I just put a list up in there. You can sort of follow that list with me of the medications, but these are the medications that actually people who have severe dizziness are prescribed. So I'm just read from an article. It says here, from the Neural Equilibrium site, where it talks about people who have severe dizziness. They end up taking benzodiazepines, which is like clemazepam, diazepam, lorazepam. I'm probably not pronouncing it right, but these are the type of medications that they take. Besamine, all of these, this whole list that I displayed in the chat room, they take all of these medications, okay? They may not be taking all of them, but they'll be prescribed at least 1, 2, maybe 3, depending on how their body may react to those medications. They'll be prescribed those medications. And just imagine the side effects that they have to go through just alone with those medications. Like I said before, a lot of these are like clemazepam, which is also used for pain and stuff like that as well. You have stuff like Reglan, Zofran, Valium, Ativan, Klonopin. Those are some others that are used also for people who have severe dizziness. But like I was saying before, they will experience side effects. So let's go into those side effects. Now that I gave you a list of some of those medications, let's talk about the side effects. So on the first list that you see with the benzo, I'm gonna call them benzodiazepines. Some of the side effects that people will experience with these, it says here, people end up having headaches, vomiting, tiredness with these meds. Now you're already trying to get rid of the vomiting from the nausea. So then you have to take medicine that's going to possibly make you have a headache and then make you nauseated again. Because remember, when you have strong headaches, it's also going to make you nauseated. So extreme tiredness. You're already going to be tired from the symptoms of the severe dizziness. So you're going to be tired again due to the meds. Okay, so it's just like a catch-22. And some people end up losing some of their vision, having blurred vision. Okay, due to some of these medications for dizziness. Dry mouth, okay? Constipation, more dizziness. That's what some of these medications. Drowsiness with some of these medications, okay? So these are some of the things that they experience. And it's supposed to, it says the first med that they have here listed is actually thought to act through the central nervous system by suppressing the vestibular response, a sensory mismatch with the responses of feeling dizzy. So it goes in there and interacts with what's going on with your ear canal to help you regain balance. Okay. It says here the medication is also used for anxiety. So this is the top one on the list, the benzodiazepines. And it says that here that the medicine should be stopped as soon as possible. Well, why is that with the benzodiazepines? Well, because it can cause addiction, guys. So a lot of these medications that they put you on, it's like I said, it's a catch-22. Not only do you have all these side effects, but you can also end up being addicted to medication that you just came in for to help you relieve dizziness, which can cause a whole list of other problems when you talk about addiction. Okay, so that's just what that. It says it should be stopped as soon as possible for risk of addiction, impaired memory, so you can lose your memory with this first med that's on the list, and just impaired memory and just the list of other stuff. It's crazy. It says it should be avoided in patients with other chronic illnesses. So you're talking about deep breathing problems, people with breathing problems, with people who have sleeping issues shouldn't be taking this medicine as well. Okay, so if you're having a hard time trying to sleep, or you're a deep sleeper and you have trouble breathing while you sleep, you shouldn't be taking this type of medication. Now, on the second one is a histamine. Okay, so it says here it is used for treatment for people who have severe dizziness, and it's said to be useful in increasing blood supply to the inner ear. Okay, so the second one, it also helps try to relieve the dizziness. But once again, it says it should be avoided because guess what? People that have wheezing problems, they wheeze a lot. We know what that condition is. They shouldn't take the medicine. If you have ulcers, you're not able to take the medicine because it can cause problems. And It can cause aggravation to any other health issues that you may have. And you can't even consume salt with this second medication. So, guys, this is crazy that all these medications can do all produce all these side effects, and you're just in there, like I said, for only dizziness. Okay, so just going down the list a little bit because it's just a lot of them. The third one, the dopamine trinate, I believe that's what it's called. It causes even more problems. It says that you may experience dryness of mouth, drowsiness, which is dangerous for people who drive or who move around and have things to do. And it also says patients suffering from issues with their eyes, such as glaucoma or urinary problems, shouldn't use this medication. Okay, so it causes a lot more than what you think when you take these medications for dizziness. And then the other medication down here has been used to treat people who have seasickness. But of course, it has side effects. It also causes dryness of mouth and drowsiness, which is dangerous. The drowsiness is dangerous because, you know, if you're driving around or you're going places and stuff like that, and you're not aware of where you're at, that drowsiness can cause you to end up having accidents. Okay, so it's just like a whole list. Like I said before, I'm gonna put it in there again for those people who are coming in and who have missed it, um, of medications that these people have to take for dizziness. So let's get into some positive stuff that you can do for people who have chronic um, dizziness. So I always tell you, before you get into talking about supplements that you can use, you also want to talk about just, you know, stuff in general that you can do to help that supplement, okay, that you're taking. So we're talking about diet and food. You know, food is everything, and it can help trigger or decrease some of the ailments that you have in your body. Where there are some things that you can do with your diet to help your dizziness, or that can irritate that problem with your dizziness. So let's talk about things that you can do as far as with food, okay, that you need to avoid. So these are things that you need to avoid, foods that you need to avoid if you have chronic dizziness. Foods that are high in sugar or salt. Okay, so we're talking about artificial sugars, guys, those refined sugars. You want to stay away from those. Cakes, sweets, pies. I know. All of those sweet goodies and stuff like that. You either want to reduce it if you just want to be stubborn about the problem, but you want to cut that out of your diet. Okay, that's what you want to do. You want to cut it out your diet and try to lean towards more of the healthier sweets, but even be careful with that. I know people say, well, it's good for me, the good sweets, you know, the pineapple, um, the other fruits, but there are some fruits and that are very, very, very sweet. So you even have to limit that as well. Okay, but it's better alternative than the artificial sweeteners and the chemicalized sweeteners and the artificial sweets and the cupcakes and the ding dongs and stuff like that that's been processed that looks so yummy that you want to eat. Okay, the salt, we all know what salt can do, especially the iodine salt, the salt with iodine, which is called table salt. That's the most horrible salt there is out there, because it does a lot of damage. Okay, and not only that, it just causes you to retain fluid and all of that type of stuff. So imagine you retaining fluid in your body. You guess what? If you have dizziness problems, you're retaining more fluid in your ears. So that's going to cause even more problems. Okay. So it says here, concentrated drinks and sodas. So we're talking about those carbonated drinks, those processed drinks. You want to stay away from them. You want to try to lean towards bottled drinks that say, organic, natural juices and stuff like that, more on the natural side, or make your own. If you have a juicer, make your own. Um, Caffeine. Caffeine, yes. So when we're talking about caffeine, guys, we're not just talking about coffee. I know there's a lot of coffee drinkers out there. I'm one of them. Tea, I'm one of them. So coffee, tea. Now, when we're talking about coffee, that espresso is very high in caffeine. Okay, so that's a big, big trigger for those espresso lovers. Very high in caffeine. When you're talking about tea, the ones that have the highest caffeine level, for those that don't know, is black tea. Black and red tea have the highest concentration of caffeine. And matter of fact, it has just as much caffeine as coffee. Bet you didn't know that. So stuff with caffeine in it, sodas that's caffeinated, you have to stay away from those if you want to um, help your severe dizziness problems. Okay. Going down the list, chocolate. Yes. Sorry. You're going to have to limit your intake if you're stubborn, or cut it out of your diet completely, because chocolate, believe it or not, has caffeine. Now, if you don't believe me, eat a whole bar and see how you feel. That's why they tell people a lot of times that's feeling down and out, oh, go grab you some dark chocolate and get your body jumping. And it does get your body jumping. I know, because I like to eat dark chocolate. So it's great mood booster. And I believe a lot of it has to do with the caffeine, because it gets your endorphins pumping. Okay. So energy drinks. Energy drinks, we already talked about colas and sodas, but energy drinks. Now, energy drinks can be dangerous. I know you've seen some of the episodes on the news where they're talking about kids staying away from them freaking energy drinks, because they are extremely, extremely high in caffeine. I remember taking some energy drinks, and I literally felt my heart like wanting to jump out of my chest. And I'm all like, wait, I just wanted some energy, because I'm in the medical field. So I work nights, and I had to literally stop taking energy drinks. And I would just drink one, guys, just one. And I literally felt like my heart was racing, and my heart was going to come out of my chest. And I said, oh no, I'd rather go back and drink the coffee. Okay, I'd rather go back and drink the coffee. So every time I see a can, it's like, me having some type of post-traumatic dramatic stress syndrome, some bad flashback, because I'm like looking at that can like, I know what you did to me. That's why I'm going to pass you up. Okay. So you're going to have to just leave those cans of energy drinks alone. Take my advice. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. It's the most weirdest, scariest feeling ever. It almost feels like you're having a panic attack. That's what it feels like. For those that have had panic attacks before, I've had them. That's what it feels like. I'm all like, oh, heck no. I don't want to go back to that experience. Okay, so it says here, for my smokers, yes. So if you have that, I call it a horrible habit of smoking, yes. I'm talking about cigars, cigarettes, e-cigarettes with nicotine in them, okay? E-cigarettes with nicotine in them. You're going to want to cut that out, because that can also help trigger your severe dizziness episodes, okay, for those that are experiencing that. Alcohol intake. I know some of y'all saying, what, I can have a drink? If you're stubborn, you're either going to have to cut back, sir, ma'am, or you're going to have to cut it out of your diet. What do you want to have? Do you want to have some episodes of dizziness where you're feeling nauseated and all that all the time? Would you want to make a more responsible choice and just cut back on those things that that's going to cause this dizziness? I'd rather pick the latter. Okay. Um, Also says here processed foods and meats. So we're talking about bologna, that chopped ham, that spam, that stuff in a can. You don't know what it is, but it tastes so good. Corn hash, all of that type of stuff that's processed in a can or in a package in a Ziploc bag, and it says made with chicken, beef, and scraps. That type stuff you have to not intake. Okay, if you want to feel better with your dizziness, you want to put that aside and lean towards more healthier options. Okay, breads and pastries. Why? Because we're talking about the sugars in breads and pastries. Breads have a lot of starch, a lot of carbohydrates, which turns into what? Remember I was telling you before in the other lives? It's either going to turn into fat or it's going to turn into what? Sugar. Sugar is going to turn into fat or sugar, okay? So you're going to have that sugar problem again with these breads and pastries and everything like that. Terry says, I feel you. Yes, yes. And Perry, she's saying the medical term over there, the big V. We already know what it is. Yes, Perry, you sure are right. You guessed it right. That's what I'm talking about. Perry Hand says, my eye twitches a lot. Oh, sorry to hear that. Maybe some of these items that I'm telling you to do can help alleviate that. A lot of that stimulation sometimes from the twitching and all of that, like I said, if you have dizziness symptoms, it's coming from that. But also a high intake of sugar can cause a lot of jitteriness too, for those people that don't know. So those artificial sugars can also produce ticks and stuff in the eye. So you probably want to try to detox off of sugars and sweets and stuff and see how you feel as well. Okay. Now, I'm not no medical expert, so I just want to put that out there as a disclaimer. But I'm just giving out some educational information that you can go back and do your own due diligence, people. It's important to do your own due diligence as well, okay? Do your own due diligence. Never just sit up and just intake and not do the responsible thing of double checking. Like my mother used to say when I was younger, she said, no half looking. Y'all better not be half looking. Y'all better go back and look again. That's what you're supposed to do in life, is always double check everything. Double check, okay? Double check information. Double check what you're eating, what you're consuming. Double check any medications that you might be getting from your doctor so you can see what's going on with them. That type of stuff. Always have that good habit, okay? Perry says that she uses the CBD oil. It keeps her from getting sick. Great, great. We're going to talk about that solution in a bit. Okay. Yes, yes, Terry. A lot of them do. A lot of them do. Hi, Susie. Thanks for joining. Okay, so we talked about the breads and the pastries, fried foods, an excess amount of fried foods. So we're talking about going to fast food places, people. Yeah, I know it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. But even at home, when you cooking fried foods, that's a no-no too. So don't ever get it twisted. That applies too as well. Just because you don't go through that drive-through doesn't mean that the limitations at home with your deep fryer does not apply. Okay, so you're gonna have to either cut back if you're going to be stubborn and cut back on your fried foods, or just cut it out of your diet. Because like I said, there's a choice to be made. You want to walk around eating greasy chicken and 30 minutes later you're dizzy and then you're vomiting that stuff back up because of your dizzy spells? Or do you want to say, hey, you know what? I'll eat baked chicken this time. Choices to be made, people. Choices to be made, okay? Um, Also, when we talk about saltiness, we're talking about staying away from soy sauce, chip, popcorn, cheese, pickles, any form of canned goods that's high in sodium and processed ingredients. So let's move on to a positive note with food. So just like there's foods that can harm you, there are foods that can help you. So let's get to that. And with dizziness, who would have thought there are foods that can help you with dizziness? How many of you thought that there are not any foods at all that would help you with your dizziness? How many of you did not know about that? How many of you knew that there are foods that can help you with your dizziness? I didn't know personally, to be honest. Like I said, I don't have a God complex, so I don't know everything. But yeah, that's surprising to me that there are foods out there that can help alleviate your dizziness. Isn't having natural stuff wonderful? Isn't that just, aren't you just thankful that there are natural stuff on this earth that you can use to help you get better? Okay. So that's great. So let's talk about drinking plenty of water. So what does that do? That hydrates the body, but also if you have like salt and all of that sugar going around in your body, it helps dilute it. So that's going to help with easing those symptoms of dizziness, okay? Foods rich in potassium, okay? So when we're talking about foods that are rich in potassium, dark leafy greens, we already know about bananas. About bananas, Chiquita bananas. We already know about the bananas, guys, having potassium. But here's another one that I love, I love, I love, I love, that I always usually try to consume. Coconut. Coconut water, guys. Coconut water, for those that are not on it, you know that drinking coconut water in the summertime is more hydrating than drinking regular water? Bet you didn't know that. Well, coconut water has potassium in it. So you want to drink, try drinking some coconut water. Depending on the brand you get, it tastes really good. I love it. It have different flavors mixed in with it too. Awesome stuff to have. Coconut, okay? So you want to eat foods high in potassium. Oh, and here's another one. The great fruit that y'all think is a vegetable, guys. This was interesting. How many of you know that tomatoes can help you with your dizziness? Tomatoes, guys. Tomatoes. Okay? Now, what tomatoes do, and it can probably help with some other elements too, because let me tell you what it does. Tomatoes, as juicy as they are and delicious, if you get them when they ripe, as they are, helps extract. Now, this juicy tomato with all this juice goes in your body and does the opposite. It helps extract fluid, excess fluid out of your body. So what is that going to do for your ears? Guys, that's going to help balance out the fluid in your ears, helping alleviate that dizziness. Tomatoes. How about that, huh? How many of you have tomatoes in your home right now? Anybody has tomatoes in their home right now? I bet you're thinking twice about them, huh? Okay. So foods rich in antioxidants. Okay. So blueberries, of course, the dark leafy greens, the other vegetables that's out there. Guys, start experimenting with other vegetables that's out there. We always want to eat the potato. We always want to eat, the 99-cent lettuce. People, let me tell you about the 99-cent lettuce, okay? Or whatever cheapest price lettuce that's out there in that store. I want you to get in the concept of understanding what fruits and vegetables are to you, okay? Because a lot of us don't have that concept. And I had to get this concept down packed, as much as possible. I'm still learning, but I have to think of fruit and vegetables in a different way, because a lot of times we think, well, if we grab a carrot, we're good to go. Or we grab a 99 cents bag of lettuce. Oh, we're eating healthy. But do you know what each vegetable does that you're picking out? See, there's sort of, how many of you had your kids watch Pokemon? I'm going to put it like that. How many of you have had your kids watch Pokemon? Okay, what are the Pokemon? The Pokemon, yeah, they got all different types of animals, but each one does a certain thing. There's water types, there's earth types, there's fire types, and the other types. Well, in the food world, it's the same, guys. So when you're walking past your cart and you see those veggies and stuff, each one of them has a purpose. Just like you have a purpose in life, each one of them have a purpose. Well, the 99 cent lettuce is a water type. It's not like the romaine and the other dark, heavy duty lettuce family. It's a water type lettuce. So you're sitting up there thinking that you're getting nutrients from this 99 cent lettuce, but it's nothing but a camel type lettuce. It's a water plant, guys. And what it does, it's what you call getting rubbish in your body. Have you heard that term? Oh, it helps put rubbish. You heard the old school people say that it helps put rubbish in your body. That all it means is it has a fiber content, but it's mostly water. It doesn't really have no nutrient value. It's a water type. So the next time you driving that cart by your lettuce, actually look at what those fruits and vegetables do. A lot of grocery stores will have little signs and it says, does this, that, and that. Okay? So each vegetable does a certain thing for you and provides certain minerals and vitamins. And a lot of times these stores will have it listed. It'll be in small print sometimes, but you can see it. So pay attention to that, because I just told you today that if you're sitting up there thinking that you're going to get vitamins from your 99 cent lettuce, you are dead wrong. It's a water type. So if you dehydrated, you're going to go and get that 99 cent lettuce. If you're lacking in vitamins and minerals, you're going to go straight to the dark purple, green, whatever dark color leafy vegetation. Okay. So we got to start thinking about our vegetables in a different way, like they're speaking out to us. Hey, I do this over here. No, don't get that vegetable. That's not what you need. You need me, So we need to start thinking of our food in that way. I know it sounds childish and simple, but sometimes we have to go back to a simple way of thinking in order to have an open-minded aspect of life, okay? In certain things. We have to have an open mind about stuff and be more aware, okay? So it says foods rich in antioxidants and micronutrients, okay? And foods are anti-inflammatory. Also, nuts can improve blood circulation for people that experience dizziness, okay? So for those that don't have a nut allergy, you can be able to consume nuts for those that can, and that will help with blood circulation. I bet you didn't know that. Consuming nuts. We're talking about almonds. We're talking about cashews. We're talking about peanuts. We're talking about pecans, hazelnuts, whatever type of nuts there are out there. It will help with blood circulation. Now, that's something I didn't know, because if it helps with circulation with your ear, guess what else is helping with your circulation? Because blood is everywhere, right? Running through your body, right? Makes sense, huh? Okay, so I always try to think of, a broader spectrum of where it can also help the body. So we're talking about nuts that helps improve the blood circulation in the body and the inner ear, helping to reduce the pressure. And then we talk about ginger. Now, we all know what ginger does. Ginger, especially when it's fresh. I love to consume ginger. Okay, ginger helps with nausea. Now, this is a tricky one, because not all vegetables and herbs are created equal for your body. Like I said, some people have nut allergies. Now, for people who have an elevated blood pressure, you definitely want to watch out for ginger because ginger helps raise your blood pressure. So if your blood pressure levels are already high, you probably want to step away from the ginger, guys, because ginger does do that. But it can help with nausea, okay? Nausea and a whole list of other stuff. Okay, so moving on, uh, let's see. Foods rich in vitamin B and C, zinc, magnesium can help restore nerve damage and also blood circulation. So A and C, we're talking about the strawberries, the oranges, the citrus fruits, all of those type of things can help restore the nerve coating. So if there's some nerve issues that's going on, whether it's in the ears or in the brain, whatever is going on, it can help restore those coatings on there, which is awesome. So B and C, zinc and magnesium are just some of the elements out there that you can use to be able to restore nerve damage and improve blood circulation. So let's get to, because we're almost at a close, supplements that we have that we can use to be able to possibly alleviate um, our severe symptoms of dizziness. Now, guys, we have a wonderful, wonderful supplement that helps with that. But I also believe, like I said before, that's why I brought up the nutrition, that nutrition also plays a part in your supplements working better. It's like, let me give you this, for instance, this concept. It's like when you have a facial cleanser and a facial cream, right? Okay, if you have not exfoliate your face and you're using the products on your face, it's not going to have a greater effect until you remove all of that dead skin off of your face. So it's the same thing with the inside of your body. Sometimes if you haven't detoxed or you don't have all of that gunk removed, which the good nutrients of the foods and vegetables, fruits and vegetables provide, help scrape all of that dead stuff off and help detox your body. A lot of times your supplements going to take a little bit longer to work. Okay, so you want to be sure to add that good nutrition along with your supplements because it's going to help enhance. It's like a double whammy. What you rather go in fighting the beast with, one fist or two. You want two, okay, when you're going out there to fight the beast that be. And the beasts that we're talking about are, just these ailments and, these illnesses that's out there. So, guys, nutrition is everything, right along with your supplements. They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand, okay? So, the supplement that we have is CBD oil, and it does some amazing things, guys. Some amazing things. So you definitely want to do your research on it. But I have to put that out there. I'm not no medical expert, and also not all CBD oils are created equal. So I just want to read to you just some studies on what it says that the CBD oil can do for people who have chronic severe dizziness. You have went to the doctor and they said you have the big V, or you have the M for dizziness. I can't say these medical terms, but you know what they are. But severe dizziness, guys. And it says here in this article, it says that I pulled from this article, it says CBD oil may help with severe dizziness symptoms and ringing in the ears. Wow. Okay. So it's saying that it can help with that, guys. Now, imagine if you have the quality substance, a quality CBD oil, and you can go in there and not play no games and let it do its work. We have that. So if you are interested in trying out that supplement, like I told you before in the beginning of the broadcast, that is on the side. We have that for you. Check out that information, okay? check out the website so you can get that information about it, and also do your research as well. Guys, this is the closing of this live. Hopefully, you have gained some information on severe dizziness and what you can do. Now, how many of you thought this broadcast was worth watching for symptoms on dizziness? How many of you thought it was worth watching? Thank you. I appreciate it. Guys, me and Terry, we go, and the hosts that be on here, we go out of our way to help bring you this information and do research. Now, we're not medical professionals, but we go in there and give you this information for educational purposes, okay? So that you can have these tools, this arsenal to go in there and have a better life, to have quality of life, okay? So with that being said, I'm glad that y'all enjoyed the broadcast. This will be saved, so you can go ahead and share it with family members or friends or whoever as soon as I get off this live. And guys, thank you so much, CTFO family and guests. Thank you for being here on the show, CBD Movement Talk Live. Be sure to share with your friends and stay tuned for tomorrow, because Terry's gonna be in the house, guys, and he is gonna lay it down for y'all tomorrow night. Guys, stay safe. I love y'all. Mwah. Take care. Have a great night. Bye.